I remember 2 instances. Showed up in the morning and it was cold. There were power outlets if you got there early enough to plug your car in. So the block heater keep your car from freezing.
Wow.
Came out after school and it was about 20 below when I got there. It was about 60 degrees Fahrenheit when I left.
If you had to have a block heater, VISD would just flat shut it down. We're doing remote learning forever.
And the other way around too. I remember getting there in shorts in the morning, and by the afternoon it was snowing and cold. So it's those darn Chinooks.
The Chinook winds.
Yeah,
Leo DiCaprio,
or as Leo called it, global warming.
Global warming.
Yeah.
So
let's see who's in this morning.
Well, let's see. Yeah. We're our friend. I guess he's our friend. This guy we know, Dale Zook, is here. He is our friend, which is irrelevant to this conversation.
Man, I don't see our live.
It's there.
Notification.
That video is going. We're going to talk to Dale a little bit about school board and what he thinks needs to be done at VISD.
So do we want to jump into the Tiger Woods thing right off?
For a minute, you got time, don't you?
Oh, sure.
Tiger Woods. Okay, so here's the quick skinny, and you tell me, stop me if my TMZ reporting is not spot on. Tiger Woods had been out hosting
the Genesis Invitation.
Yeah, and he's driving a Genesis SUV. And I knew it was something. I thought it was probably a loaner, honestly, from like a NetJet firm or something, because it had this logo on the side that looked like wings. And that was the Equus, the Genesis car logo. And he's in California, which Tiger lives in Florida. So that's made me think loaner car. And,
it was a courtcy car
from the
tournament. Yeah.
He's got all his gear in there, and he's driving, supposedly, 7:12 in the morning, and he's driving over to a photo shoot with Drew Brees and who's the Chargers? Herbert. Is it Justin?
Justin, I think. Yeah.
Justin Herbert, the quarterback of the, I guess, San Diego Chargers. And are they the Los Angeles Chargers?
They're the Los Angeles Chargers. Yeah. The team formerly known as.
Yes, the Prince. Yeah. Yes. And Tiger somehow he's going northbound. He's going northbound. One thing leads to another. He jumps the median, crosses the southbound lane, rolls down a hill, and has a compound fracture of his leg.
One leg. I think he shattered the other ankle, and there might have been some other broken bones too.
Yeah. Now, that's it. To me, that's the news, man. Tiger Woods had a car wreck. It's not life-threatening. They're operating on him. It's not as if, just trying to be relative here, it's not as if LeBron James had a wreck and he's still a really, really super important athlete. Tiger Woods' celebrity at this point in his career far exceeds his viability on the golf course. He's like the Muhammad Ali of golf, the Mike Tyson of golf, even the Magic Johnson of golf.
The Jerry Cooney of
golf. But I'm telling you, Ash, the way they taught this coverage yesterday over Tiger Woods losing control of a courtesy car and wrecking it. It was a combination of, Dale, you'll remember back in the 90s, the O.J. Simpson getaway drive in the white Ford Bronco. It was a combination of that and the crash of Kobe Bryant's helicopter. Oh. They had aerial coverage of the crash site. They showed Allen's wrecker service. They had that car up. There's the mangled wreckage of the vehicle that nearly took the life of Tiger Woods. And they show it being their helicopter following it through the streets.
The hyperbole, because I looked and I was like, it's banged up, but it wasn't mangled.
No, and Tiger, you may recall, although he was being forcibly abused with a 9-iron at the time, Tiger has a history of crashing a car or two. He's done it.
Well, and he also got a DUI a couple of years ago.
Interesting. I don't think any of that, I don't think the circumstances make me believe any of that was at play.
7-something in the morning, car full of luggage.
On his way to a photo shoot.
And going to the airport.
I doubt he was medicating. Although Ash and I did discuss that he's had some back problems. And it could be, this is not even we're thinking it might be. It could be that he was on some type of medication and maybe fell asleep at the wheel or something like that. But wait till the guy gets his legs set, right? Put the bones back where they go, and then ask him what happened. Because nobody had any reason to believe.
And the LA County Sheriff came straight out and said no odor of alcohol,
right,
and no visual signs of impairment. But they do think he was in shock because he was answering the questions somewhat calmly when it happened. But
well, I'm sure he's sitting there.
What else you can do? You can't panic. You can't get out of the car. So I don't know.
Yeah. And I did listen to the audio of the emergency call where the person calling in. The first responder calling in did not know it was Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Knew that it was something bad, knew they needed to block off some streets, and knew they needed some equipment out there.
Well, and the other thing is that's a pretty dangerous stretch of highway or roadway. I'm not sure if it's a highway anyway, because a motorist passing by had stopped, I guess had witnessed it and had stopped. And got out to try to render some aid, and as they were out of their vehicle got hit by a car coming over the hill. So, there's some issues on that road. Yeah,
it's like it's a residential area, but it's also a divided road, 2 lanes each way with a median,
and a steep enough grade to warn truckers to use low gear.
Yeah, I got to figure that Tiger was familiar with the area. Number one, he's played the tournament a whole bunch of times. And number two, he grew up in that area. He grew up out in Southern California. So, that's not a guarantee that he knew that road, but I have a feeling he was going somewhere that he knew where he was going.
Might have been testing the limits of that Genesis.
Right? Well, I joked last night. I said, well, that just shows you right there that Genesis is not a very good SUV. And Ash said, I don't know, save Tiger's life.
That's the way I'm looking at it. You roll down a hill and you end up with broken legs. I can't say you walked away from it with broken legs, but you survived it.
Drug yourself away.
Right. So
glass half empty, glass half full. That kind of guy sums up Wade and Carter.
Kendra Douglas is in this morning. Marvin Mickish, Justin Glass, Judge Posey.
Hi, Judge.
Rob Morgan-Ipling, Scott Tomko, Bobcat Watley, H.R. Mallory, Lisa Poole, Randy Langston. Lisa Poole says not getting the Facebook notifications. Yeah, I read something on that yesterday. You have to follow the page or like the page, and then I think you have to go up to where the bell is and get all live videos.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah. See, so you have to go to the live right next to the name of the page. There'll be a little bell.
Right. I see that.
And you'll get.
It's probably off until you.
Yeah.
They don't bore you with us until you request.
Yeah, you've got to bore yourself.
Yeah.
Randy Langston is in. Patrick Strauss. Good morning. Bobby Leister. Holding steady at 7:33 on the Leisterometer. Catherine Imes, good morning. Scott Snow. Well, the other thing is we are a little delayed getting on the air every morning because there's a show before us now.
Right.
Joe McNeil's
doing a great job.
Yeah. Scott Snow, H.R. Mallory, Jeremy Pena,
Kevin Louisiana. Good morning, JP.
Terry Murray, good morning. Stephen Kidder. Chris Conrad, Lorena Bargenbrook, Richard King. Rob Morgan says, be patient, wait for the real story. That's a really big ask in today's world.
Right. And see, Robin is correct. And the sheriff out there literally said it could take up to a month to complete this investigation. It really shouldn't. Let's let Tiger get out of the surgical suite. It wouldn't take a month if you rolled that car. About day 2, hey, how you feeling, buddy? Can you answer a couple of questions? Okay, man, thanks. Nobody was hurt but the driver. No real property damage except the car. You think
Genesis
is going to contact Tiger about that? Sorry, Tiger.
Tiger probably could pull enough cash out of his back pocket.
Yes, to buy the Genesis. So at the end of the day, it shouldn't take but a week to do this investigation. But this is the biggest thing to happen in this sleepy hamlet. Let's get the helicopter up.
Adam Daughtry, Rena Scherer, Matt Boucher, Tom Price, Christina Wise. We don't do this, but gotta wish belated birthday wishes to Christina Wise. She's been there from the beginning of this show, pretty much.
Christina, thank you for your constant support, even when we were mediocre. Well, I guess we're mediocre now.
Yeah.
Even when we were bad.
Subpar.
Yeah, now mediocre. We're average now.
Probably carrying about a 10 handicap to keep it in golfer
just to
terms.
But we can make money with a 10 handicap.
Chesley Gobar checking in. Jordan, Lucy, and Bella all listening as well on the way to school. Appreciate that.
Look, Pete McNally asked the Tiger Maple. Yes, Peter, I agree with you on that.
I agree based on what they said. Crossed the median, no signs of braking, just sort of veered across the southbound lanes and down. Yeah, that'd be my guess.
He could have fallen asleep.
Steve Kidder says the toxicology results could take a month. Not in LA County. Those things, they run those things all the time. Alejandro Alvarez, good morning to you. Let's see who.
Say that again. I'm working with you on your Spanish.
Alejandro Alvarez.
You got to get a little Alejandro. You got to, come on, man.
Jamie Coleman. Leanne Knowles, good morning, everybody.
You can't go Alejandro.
I did.
At least you can say Alejandro.
No, I know enough.
There you go.
I know better than that.
Mr. Alvarez, thank you. Thank you, sir, for watching the show.
Alan's Wrecker Service, straight and fresh from LA County.
Alan's Wrecker Service. Going to roll that R a little bit, too. Wrecker Service.
Now you sound German.
Sergeant Schultz.
You just
578-6300. That's how you reach Alan's
turned into a Nazi. Well, I mean, you've been accused of being a
Tiger
Nazi.
Woods. I have been accused of being. Yes. You need to reach out to Alan. Alan will be there. It shows you yesterday. I mean, that flatbed record that they use for Tiger, Alan's got about 8 of them.
Yeah.
So if you need him, call him. He'll come help you get out of a ditch off the side of a road. The difference is when Alan shows up, the scene is secured, and he would tell Sheriff Marr, I realize Tiger Woods wrecked a car here. Get the mobile command center off the highway. Get the mobile command off the highway. We paid $250,000 for that rig. I'm telling you, Alan's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. The VCS companies, they're our banner sponsor for a reason. We promote local, family-owned, integrity-based businesses. Nobody personifies that more than the Hartford family, the Hartmans, Big Jim, Jennifer, JR,
Kelly.
They're awesome folks. They're a great family, and they will help you with all your communication needs. Gary Schmeckel asked, did Alan's roll out? Yeah, but he got there second.
Yeah.
He had to go all the way across the Nevada desert.
He got stuck on I-5.
Right. He got stuck in traffic. Yeah. But
Chesnick Furniture Company, you won't get stuck in traffic when they won't get stuck in traffic delivering you your new sofa, bed, love seat, recliner, accoutrement.
They've got it all. I love it when you talk French. So you have no trouble with French.
The only French I know.
Well, they made him learn French when he was in the gulag over there in Russia.
Just trying to get out.
Reach out to Bobby Leon and his family. They will make your house a home. Love, Chesnick's in Love, make your house a home. And you simply just do better at Chesnick.
What day is today?
Caldo Wednesday.
It is. Caldo Wednesday, Veracruz Restaurant. Get over there early because if you don't, I think last week I heard from some listeners, they were sold out.
Yeah.
They got there on 12:45 or the week before then. Yeah. Right. Gone. It was done.
You know, and I'm talking to Dale here because he's standing here, bless his heart, but having to endure this live.
Yeah, we've bored him.
The folks at Veracruz had to go in on Monday. And you had to, they'd gone in on Sunday and turned off all the power again, drained the ice maker. Then you had to clean it,
change
the filters, run a new batch, dump that, then run the water for like a half hour. All of that to make sure that the stagnant water from Victoria was out.
Meanwhile, everybody at home whose ice maker just kicked back up about a week from now when they start eating that ice and using it, they'll all end up in the toilet.
Boy, I sure am regular. I don't know what that's all about.
I need some probiotics.
Don't blame that on Caldo Wednesday. Blame that on your ice maker.
But head over to Veracruz today for Caldo Wednesday.
Christina Weiss says, you're a part of my morning routine. Thank you. That's what Dawn says to me. Just a part of her routine.
No, we thank you for sticking with us for going on 5 years, Christina. Appreciate it.
Some days I feel like an aerobics instructor. It's like, and 3, and 2,
you don't look like one.
Working.
Walked into that one,
I said instructor. Instructor.
Exactly my point.
There you go.
The portly aerobics instructor.
Richard Simmons. He had those little thick socks on. Remember that guy?
That's why he wore the vertical stripes on the shorts. Made him look slimmer.
think he's from Moose Knuckles, Saskatchewan.
I'm not sure where it is.
All right, hey, let's bring our friend in here. Let's talk to Dale. Dale. One thing about Dale, we just introduced Dale. We can take a break. You ready? And Dale, the show is yours.
Okay, well, I'll see you in about 35 minutes.
Yeah, we'll be back. I gotta go get more coffee.
Let's talk about water first. A lot of kids used to have those little chias. You put a little chia seed in there, and I was so damn
Chia pets.
Being the son of a principal from O'Connor School for all those years, I didn't have any pets. But if I'd been born today, I could just go pour a glass of water, put it on the windowsill, and that's Victoria City water. And a week later, I'd be full of green from the Guadalupe River.
Nice.
That's called water.
That's nice.
You don't need a chia plant.
But it's got lots of minerals, and I think overall our water is pretty good. You want bad water? Go over to Beeville. Get you a drink of local water. I'm not exaggerating. If you go to a restaurant in Beeville and you have 2 glasses of tea, you're going to leave there DWI. It's just got that twang to it. It's like, what happened? Oh, I just went to the Mexican place and had 2 glasses of tea, and they're like, oh, really? Well,
there's your first tell. Two drinks.
You're coming with us.
Every drink driver only had 2.
The first one and the last one.
Exactly. They don't remember the 8 in between.
Christina Wise says, if I was an aerobics teacher, I'd be like Will Ferrell. Oh, hey, kids.
Without the humor.
Harry Carey here.
That'd be more like who you'd be like.
That's not funny. I'm a specimen, a physical specimen.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tell us, Dale, you've announced now you actually have an opponent. We have a race. We have a race for a VISD board spot.
One of the first in at least 8 years that we know of.
And that's fantastic. I applaud
you. I wonder, though, because you're running in a seat that's been vacated, correct?
Yes. Ross Maskers was in the seat for almost 15 years.
So let me ask that. Jamie Coleman says red diesel in the water off old Goliath.
Yeah, a huge spill.
So if Ross Mansker hadn't vacated the seat, would you have run?
Definitely would.
Okay, because it seems like VISD opponents almost or very, very rarely do VISD trustees running for re-election have an opponent, is what I'm trying to say.
People don't wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to decide to run for a non-paying position that is
that has no thanks.
Purely thankless.
I had a good friend by the name of Dave Hill. He became a VISD, thought it was going to help his business, and ended up shutting it down.
Sure. And I've known Ross Mansker since high school. He's a couple of seasons older than me. And he's always been a solid guy, a great guy. But you look back and I mean, I thanked him for his service, but that's the first time that the guy's been while you're in that position, everybody's mad at you.
Yeah.
Well, they're all going to be mad at you. And I know you don't care about that. You want to help the kids. You want to help the district. But it's true. They're all going to be mad at you all the time.
So let me ask the question. Why?
Well, it's a real simple way. I'm sorry, cash.
Yeah, I've been called worse.
He answers all of it.
It's real simple. My belief in the running for this is that the taxpayer, the teachers, and the student deserve better. Emmett Alvarez and I have been studying financials of the school district since about 3 years ago when we woke up one day, went to a football game, and it says 612 miles of excellence. And the day before, I looked at some of these
square miles. Come on.
Yeah, this was back in 2008.
This is Dr. J.
And Dr. J, that's right. And we went and looked at the STAR test results and did some math, and it said we are in the bottom 9% of all state results in the state of Texas on the STAR test. I said, there's got to be further excellence what's going on here.
How can that be? I have to ask people that are listening, how can it be that Victoria Independent School District, I don't know exactly where they're at now, but consistently is below surrounding school districts? How can that be?
I think we got the idea, guys.
Observations. Education attainment in this region is extremely low. As far as getting, even associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees, and anything beyond high school. But, it's the difference growing up. My parents were always like, high school is not the end game for you. You're going to figure something else out.
Prison.
Whether,
They
well,
thought you were
yeah,
gonna
they
be in
thought I was
prison.
going to prison, but I disappointed them when I only ended up in jail.
Right. And I wasn't even driving.
But, you're going to learn a trade. You're going to get a ticket of some sort, or you're going to go and get a degree. And culturally, it seems like high school is such a culmination here. There's, there's not much of an expectation to even go beyond that in not just in Texas, but I think in the U.S. in general. High school was, when we graduated high school, it was like a end point. We didn't have the big celebrations that we do. It was just like,
Right.
Here we are. We'll see you.
Where are you going in the fall?
We'll see you in the fall in college. I mean,
Yeah.
That was kind of that was sort of the one, I guess, cultural difference I noticed between growing up in Canada and the U.S.
Two quick thoughts. Everybody doesn't need to go to college. And I believe VISD, certainly under Dr. Shepard, is making some positive strides towards helping folks develop a skill set that, I'm just making this up, but maybe you want to be a welder. And, you can't be an O'Connor, so you want to be a welder. No, you want to be a welder, and you come out and you're ready to go into an apprentice program, or you've already been in an apprentice program at the high school level. I know there was some talk about these life skills, because there's plenty of guys that enjoy that type of work and make a really fine living doing it. And
But don't write a good paper.
Right.
Or don't have a need
want to
to
write a paper.
Yeah.
I'd rather, join metal together or create art or whatever than write a paper. So tell us, feel free. Tell us what you're thinking about this next couple of.
But I'm not a big fan of standardized tests either.
Well, you do have to take a GRE to get into the University of Houston, right? You had to take an SAT to get into the University of Houston, Victoria. You have to pass them to get in.
Yeah. There are some.
And if you're in the top 90% of the standardized tests, you don't argue about it, do you? Well, we're pretty good. We're 90%. It's only when we're down at the very, very bottom we say, well, the standardized tests aren't that great. Well, when you came home and your grade was an A, your parents patted you on the back and said, good job. When you came home with a D, you said, what the heck are you doing wasting my money?
Yes.
Standardized tests.
Wow, there's a difference. It was my money.
Your money. Well, standardized tests, they are a yardstick, my friend. We have.
No, I understand that. Yeah.
So, when we were this last time we checked was with the end of the 18, we moved up from 9 to 12. It's a good thing about modern math that Elmo Grove taught me back in the 7th grade. I can add, subtract, and multiply. And do pretty good with ratios, but we are challenged in Victoria. We're spending a lot of money. Our VEDC is doing their best to recruit new businesses, but if you don't have a labor force that's trained and ready to go, and ours are not, when you can't even count.
They can't make change.
But you know what? It's not just a Victoria issue. I saw a stat last week, or maybe it's 2 weeks ago, because last week we were neck deep in ice and snow and couldn't move. The U.S. spends more per capita on K through 12 education than any other country in the world. Any other country in the world. Some of those you can discount because they don't have much of an education system. The U.S. is 40th in the world in the outcomes of that education. So we're spending more money than anybody else, and we're about the bottom of the developed nations in our educational outcomes. That doesn't compute even for a guy like me that.
But it jives with our politics as a nation. We throw money at problems and think that's going to make them go away. Adam Sugar just said they should teach high school kids to sell insurance. I'll take that jab. By the way, if you're in high school and you want to compete with me on a day-to-day basis, not just jump on out there and hang your shingle, let's party.
So how do we fix the problems without
raising taxes?
Without throwing more money
at it?
Well,
or do you have solutions to these?
I do have a solution.
What are some of those solutions?
Okay. I'm a nerd. I wake up at 3 in the morning, back when I was doing insurance, looking at the stock market and figuring out what I need to do. Now I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I start looking at stock test results, and I start looking at the industry, all right, hold on, let me finish this up. Hold on there. I would start looking at the BISD budget. I carry around the budget. This is something that none of our existing trustees have ever seen. I asked them. I trained 2 trustees how to read their thinking budget.
I thought he was going to say, I wake up at 3 a.m. and talk to my prostate.
I have a good prostate.
And there you have it. Fit for office, tanned, rested, and ready. It's Dale Zook for school board.
No, I do not have a tan.
How do we pay our teachers more?
Well, we're at the bottom 27 percentile if you want to.
So here we are. Huge money taxes. Huge taxes. How do we pay our teachers more?
Give me 1 minute, okay?
Yes, sir.
We're at the bottom 27%. One of our administrators says, I cannot bring in better teachers. The only ones we can bring in from that recruiting time is new teachers. And then 3 years later, they're gone back up to Fort Bend County to make money. Okay. Last month in January, the school district brought in the Texas Association of School Boards. Hate their budget, but anyway, they gave us some good information. They said, folks, you're spending $6.28 million more than you need to in positions that no one else has in the state of Texas.
The assistant to the assistant of the assistant.
What are some of those positions?
We have 28. He said you have 28 too many teachers coaches. What's a teacher coach? Well, they needed those in order to help the brand new teachers learn how to teach. They don't know how to teach.
Why don't they know?
See, I don't believe that. First of all, I don't believe that.
That's what the Tasby lady said.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
I do believe it. I do believe it. You cannot come out of University of Houston or anywhere else a great teacher.
Now, I do agree you can't cut a great teacher, but I'll tell you that I think these young teachers coming straight out of college, wanting to make a difference, caring about a child, still full of enthusiasm. You can get them in there, and with the right leadership at the principal level and the vice principal level, you can nurture those kids on campus. You don't need to have $100,000 teacher coach. Okay, well, 100 by the time you pay their benefits and all the garbage you got to do for them.
What happened like other professions where the existing teachers take newcomers under their wings? Like, I mean, when my wife was a nurse, she would train the new nurses to how to operate in that unit.
I don't know.
It wasn't a specialized position.
But some of these teachers that come in, and of course, my mom was a lifelong educator. And
hang on, caller.
Some of these teachers come in, Dale, and they peak. You've been teaching the same subject, the same 8-year-olds for 15 years. You may start off in August with a lot of enthusiasm. Come Christmas, you're begging for a break. I think that young teachers are a good way to go, and then do cultivate them. And I think teachers ought to teach in about a 15-year window and then do something different. I do. I don't think there should be, I've been teaching here at Smith for 42 years. Well, you're out of touch, Granny. Go home.
But there's also something else that you need to do. You did not become a great insurance guy in 4 or 5 years. You
Correct.
Probably 6 to 10 years to become that.
Still working at it.
And we have to bring in teachers and recruit great teachers that have experience so that they can immediately make a big difference. And we have to find, and there is a bunch of money in the school district that we can start bringing our teachers up from $50,000 average scale, and we need to get them up to at least 60,000.
You're not the first person to say that our
we have a caller on the line.
Oh, sorry. You're not the first person to say that our district's top heavy. Good morning, caller. Talk to us.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Who we got? Or you don't have to tell us, but we'd love to know who we are. Hello, Bob and Victoria. Shared risk. Right.
All right, thank you for the call.
How much do you think it's cost the taxpayer, this insurance situation at VISD and what he called, incompetence to
share that through the shared risk?
The administration's job is to find the minimum amount of money to spend on non-education stuff. Insurance is a non-education stuff. but it ended up costing, we know, $6 million in extra taxes. We do know that we had a bunch of damage in schools that would have normally been insured.
Right.
But we have chosen not to have insurance companies till this year. When we got frost, thank goodness.
Right.
But the school board is the primary ones. They're the ones who should know when they did not have insurance and when they had insurance. You
100%.
cannot trust the bureaucrats to tell you the total truth. You need to research it.
You can go back to when Harvey happened, and I made the comment. Either you've got a bad insurance program, a bad agency managing your claim, or you did a bad job as a school board of managing that claim. Because there's no way. What VISD tried to do, and I don't blame them, but it was blatant. They tried to claim stuff from years ago and their own lack of maintenance. Oh, that's Harvey. Well, no, it's not. That pipe was rusted through 20 years ago. Don't blame that on Harvey. And yes, it was a terrible, terrible deal. And that's something you and I could talk about offline, because I'm still not real pleased with what's going on. But that's a whole different issue.
Morning, Wade and Carter. Yes.
You can. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, he's the caller's
Thank
asking
you.
about the idea that part of the bond money is still going to repair things that happened during Harvey, and
And shouldn't have that been taken care
shouldn't that
of
have already been taken care
post-Harvey?
of? See, this is a hot topic. I will tell you this: what's going on with what we call the layers of insurance is not uncommon. It used to be that you would just have, somebody like CNA would come in, write a $500 million policy with a 10% or 1% deductible. You'd have a $50,000 deductible, and you would go on down the road. Now you've got people that come in and say, "We'll take the first $100 million with a 2% deductible," and then somebody else says, "Well, I'll take the next $100 million and the next," and it's very, very common in the industry. And quite often, it is the most cost-effective way to get the layers in place that you need. But it does show that the quest for real insurance, as opposed to the pool that they were in, is a tough marketplace. We have another caller. Good morning.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I can't understand is, as a fiduciary duty as trustee to the taxpayers, why they didn't take a copy of that policy home and sit down on the
No doubt about it.
table and read it and understand that they didn't understand it. Call an insurance man and say, "Hey, explain this," because either one of you guys could have explained the risk involved in this. It seems to me like the school board should have been held accountable at the time. And quite frankly, after having cost the taxpayers so many billions of dollars, they should have been forced to resign, all except Brett Wallen, because he wasn't there at the time.
Absolutely. The backside of that is Dr. Robert Jacklich. When Dr. J was here, he had come from the San Antonio area where you could use a pool of insurance and life was good because you never have a windstorm. Okay. You never have a catastrophe that's going to damage 35 buildings at once. Even if you have a tornado, it's not going to get your whole district.
No.
So Jacklich wasn't worried about, and he was friendly with and I'm just drawing a blank. It's not PCAT. What's it called? TASB. So that's the Association of School Boards. But the program that we had prior,
The pool.
the insurance pool, if you will, which is, like you say, shared risk, that it just got depleted. There's just no money left. I mean, they had Refuria, they had all these places, and the next thing you know, they run out of money. Well, since the district is a partner in that, it's very, very difficult / impossible to sue yourself. So you can't go get after them because you're a partner in the program. They're somewhat insulated. They take your money, they spread it back out. And what they did is they went with the gut-wrenching, cheapest option at the point of purchase, and they exponentially paid the price at the point of performance. When they needed that contract was mush. And that's what happened.
So would this be comparable to somebody who buys cut rate car insurance and then finds out when they wreck their vehicle that, oops, I got almost nothing?
But we didn't pull our public officials to the carpet and say, what did you do? We just let them go back and do it again.
Correct.
Finally, this year they did go with Frost. Thank goodness. And
at least Frost is a good shop. Yeah, I mean, it's a good agency. The process was just terribly flawed, but it's fine that Frost got it.
But the thing was that they didn't have a lot of time. They had too much, as if they didn't know that they were get fired when they kicked out of the pool when they go and sue their insurance company, which was not an insurance company.
Right.
We had a lot of our bond issue has to do with, and this came from the Huckabee architects. $149 million has to do with deferred maintenance, which means stuff that the school board chose not to fix. They showed us picture after picture of rusted air conditioner systems, holes in roofs, natural gas pipes that were rusting through. Folks, this is something that a trustee needs to do. As one trustee said, I am a trustee because I trust the teachers, the staff, and the administration.
No.
I won't mention her name, but she said this 3 years ago. But, if you were going to be a fiduciary and you could go to prison for making a bad choice, you better not trust the people that you're supposed to be overseeing. And I'm not going to trust anybody. I look at numbers. And after 3 years of reading numbers and 25 years of watching the school district, I don't think I can trust a lot of people right now.
Can you fix it? Can it be
Thank
fixed?
you, caller.
Or
Appreciate that.
do you get down a road so far that there's no way to catch up?
And aren't there some mechanisms in place that almost hinder districts? Somebody has told me that the school districts by state law can only keep so much money on hand, reserves that could be used to fix some of these things. Is that accurate or not?
Yes and no.
Okay.
The no part of it is, and there's two different, I call slush funds, they call fund balances. Well, it's another topic, another day, but we have essentially allowed the school district to overtax us now for 8 years at 8 cents per year, 8 cents per year in our tax rate, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in the last 10 years, they've accumulated $25 million more than they needed to pay the current bond. Well, what they were basically doing after studying their history is that they were setting things up so that in the future, when they get ready to do another bond, it doesn't look like it's going to be 15 cents. It's only going to be 7 cents.
Right.
So they're taking our money from our bank account and putting it into their savings account. Folks, my daddy would call that theft.
Right.
The school board didn't say it was theft, but when you don't tell the people that the reason you're getting a 7.5 cents when it's actually going to cost 17 cents.
Because we're already taking the other dime from you.
We've been taking it for 10 years.
Right.
Hillary.
There you go. Let us take a quick break. Clayton, your wife can stay. There you go, Clayton. There are exceptions to the rule. And by the way,
and he said a teacher who's been there for 42 years,
right,
not a 42-year-old.
I'm the child of a lifelong educator, and I'm really just trying to spur a conversation. Atzenhofer, the Atzenhofer dealership since 1926, quite frankly, Victoria's dealership. Go today, atzenhofer.com. There is a brand new, it just needs ash in the seat, black Corvette on the showroom floor at Atzenhofer. Go on by, years and years to pay. It'd look great going down that gravel road.
I like the
2-4.
yeah.
It's a beautiful car.
Be black with a red
interior.
Dirt.
Oh, red
dirt.
A sheen.
Sort of, what's that? Two-tone.
Well, that'd be nice.
First time on there. Yeah.
Nice. Call that powder coat. The Atzenhofer dealerships, atzenhofer.com, whether you need Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi, all the gently pre-owned vehicles that they keep on the lot, paint and body shop, service of all makes and models, and inspection.
Yeah, they can do an inspection.
Or if you just want to go by and have a cup of coffee, go by and see the folks at Adsnover. White Trash Services, 550-1826. If you live in Victoria County or the 5 contiguous counties,
You'll need to roll off here soon.
Holiday Beach, Rockport,
I think I need to roll off.
Mazatlan, parts of Las Vegas, White Trash Services is there for you. Reach out.
Razor IT Solutions.
JP Hull will help you. You know, he does work for all kinds of big companies, but since he lives here, he's like, hey, I can help these small businesses protect their data, encrypt their messages. If you want to monetize a website, Ash and I would love to do it. We have nothing to sell. Maybe we can start selling like corn, sweet corn. But if you want to buy something on the internet, he can say, put this in your cart, and he can not only do that, he can make that go direct to your QuickBooks. All that stuff is what he does. He's the guy that does that, makes Amazon go. Reach out to JP at Razor IT Solutions. I missed an opportunity to spend time with Stephen Kidder yesterday, but he did send me a note and said, keep up the good work, keep swinging for the fences. You too, folks, keep swinging for the fences. If you need a will, trust, if you need family law advice, family law protection,
settle a civil dispute.
Any type. I mean, what I like about Stephen is if you call the law offices of Stephen Kidder, he will call you back. If he's in court, he'll call you back. And he doesn't just start ringing you up just to visit with you for a minute about what's going on in your life. Give him a call and say, hey, can you help me? He'll tell you yes or no, but he won't bill you for that.
I'm just kidding.
He'll try to set an appointment, then he'll bill you. No, but for real, Steve Kidder is a great guy
Steve.
And a fine lawyer. Complete 360. The
new
nutrition
location
folks,
right over here on Red River.
starting in the mornings, deal right here next to Woodlawn Bowl.
They're open now.
They open at 7 here. They have waffles, gluten-free, like 40
healthy waffles.
Yeah, 40 grams of protein, sugar-free syrup, and I'm telling you, it's like eating a cookie. Like it is phenomenal. At lunch, they have a panini sandwich that's for those of like me and you. That's just like some bread you can fold and you put it in a hot plate like a George Foreman grill. And the next thing you know, it's an awesome sandwich. And everything is broken down by you get so much protein, so many calories, and less and less fat. Phenomenal place. Very, very, very healthy environment, all the way down to supplements and snacks. So get to Complete 360 this week.
Lisa Poole asked a personal question. Are you related to Mrs. Zuck, who taught at Stanley years ago?
Yes.
Oh, now he's a program director. He pointed, folks. We didn't have his microphone on, and he just pointed at it like, "Hello." I'm sorry, Rush.
Get with it.
Sorry, Rush.
Yeah, no, Dolores Zook was my mother, and Bill Zook was my father. And another reason I got into this race was because a month does not go by when somebody said, "I knew your dad." And
I get that all the time too.
And I knew your mother. Yesterday, we were at the GOP, and Miss Faulkner came up and said, "I knew your mother. She was the best teacher." And I said, I knew your handwriting, because this is how your B was. Because when I come back from A&M, I would give one of her last classes.
Grading classes.
Grading her classes.
Dale's only 32 years old. He's just had a hard life.
64.
You know?
Planting all those potatoes.
Right.
Yeah, you got it. Potatoes are going to be planted in about 3 weeks. The ground's really cold right now.
There you go. So you not only do you get school board advice, you get spring garden advice.
I ran into Dale over at Deal and Feed. He was loading up on potatoes.
There you go.
Saw that.
Yeah.
30 pounds of potatoes. That's gonna be good for all my diet.
That was several weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
You just keep them in the barn? Just keep them warm or what?
Yeah, I kept them inside the brown bag, and they're starting to eye out now. It's almost time for that freeze.
He had to get there though, because they had 2 truckloads and they were almost all gone by the time
I
Dale
have to
showed
tell
up.
you, I have no idea. I have absolutely no understanding of how you would plant a potato, or why you couldn't just take a potato, stick it in the ground, and make more potatoes. I just don't understand.
They have to start seeding out.
They have to eye out.
And then you.
So like a little.
My
green
grandma always
shoe,
cut them in half.
little white-
I don't know if that was to get more or to help them
No,
grow.
you cut them out. You cut them in half so that you have the same genetic makeup, and sit them next door to each other, and they kind of like it.
And you have to hill them a few times. There's a lot of work in potatoes.
Yeah, you can't beat those things.
So when you do that, then do they? they grow underground. They grow into the dirt, right? You have to go out there later and pull them up.
Yeah, if you're real good, and this year my son started reading the old Farmer's Almanac, said, gotta put at least 3 inches of mulch on top of them. They'll do a whole lot better.
So will a plant ever show up through do like leaves, just foliage come up?
Oh yeah, they've got leaves.
Toward the end of the cycle, they'll get a little blue flower on top. And then when they start dying, you think, oh, my plant's dying. They're getting ready, they're growing their little bulbs.
See, you could kind of multi-purpose your flower beds. You could just put some potatoes in there.
I don't need enough potatoes.
Yeah, when you really get to it, plant green beans and with corn together, companion planting.
Jeremy Pena says, hey, I am 32 and I had a hard life. Well,
and Jeremy looks 64.
I hope yes, he looks 64. Yeah, it's funny how life evens out. Dale 64 looks 32. You're 32 looks 64. Well, I know that, and folks, by the way, a lot of this is just to spur conversation. I'm very, very pro VISD. You know I am. We last 2 weeks ago, we had Dr. Shepard and Dr. Bonewald on. We are very, very pro VISD, but I'm trying to throw out the negativity that we hear constantly to give Dale an opportunity to say, wow, that's like being in a school board meeting. You know, how do you answer people say, so is your proposition to get rid of the top heavy nature of VISD, take that money and appropriate it over to teacher salaries? And then my next question is, can you do that? Because sometimes, well, you've got this money, but you can't, it's only for M&O and you can't do, how do you do what you want to do?
Well, earlier, Tammy taught us and we put together
Tammy Keeling?
Tammy Keeling, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Keeling. She called us because we had come up with an idea that's Emmett Alvarez and I. It's called a tax swap, which isn't an allowable thing, where you can take excess money from the bond side that you're overtaxing, like they in sense that they would steal from us, and with the vote of the people, essentially move that money over. You're not physically moving it, but you're just reallocating the same tax that they're collecting and using it on the operations side. In that particular way, if the bond, I'm not a proponent that we kill the bond. There are sections in there we got to have. It's going to take us $28 million. We got to replace roofs and air conditioners. Absolutely, we got to keep kids in school. Those two things, and we don't have $28 million to set aside to.
Right.
So, but there is a lot of stuff inside this bond issue that should have never gotten into it. If at least we should have had 3 different parts of the bond that we could have each had a choice. That we got to have we need the $49 million to fix the priority stuff. Then the other $1.5 million for playgrounds could have come along. If we wanted that, we could go for it. And then the final part was the $900 million for the 2 schools.
As you'll recall, back when Hurricane Harvey happened, and then the opportunity came up.
How much for those 2 schools? You said $800 million. That can't be right.
The opportunity came up. There was like a little window there where VISD could make like a 9 or 11 cent kind of tax grab, I called it. And the idea was, the reason they did it when they did it was because if we don't do it now, we can't ever do it, which to me sounded a lot like, we've got to pass this bill to see what's in it. So then they did that, and they did take their tax grab, and we raised heck about it here on the show that it was basically unethical and immoral and basically violated all that, and not the right thing to do. And the next thing you know, FEMA made them whole. So they take X number of $1 million from us, and then FEMA said, hey, we finally got around to your file. And lo and behold, FEMA gave them the same amount of money because that was the way the system was set up to work. I remember the school board saying, in paraphrase, oh, well, we're still going to take the money, but we're going to give it back to you with better education for our children. At a time when our schools, mathematically, according to the state, sucked. So it was very, very frustrating. And I think, and by the way, this did not happen on Quentin Shepard's watch, and I do not hold him accountable for it. It did happen on his watch.
He had been here for 2 months, and he did they had the option to go in 13. He decided to go 11.
Okay.
He dropped it again.
So I'm just going to stab you. I'm not going to shoot you.
No,
But at the same time, you find yourself going, the trust in the trustees needs to be reestablished.
right. I really like what Clinton Shepherd is doing.
I do too.
Victoria. And yes, when I woke up this morning, yes, we are now not in the 12th percentile in the lowest. Looks like we're closer to 17 or 18. Things are going in the right direction. The PTEC program seems to be theoretically going to work well.
It seems morale has lifted.
But we're going to have to get better teachers.
Right.
We're going to have better teachers. We need to have teachers that stay. We need that experience level.
H.R. Mallory says the legislature made that legal. And my comment was, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it.
And you also tell the public why you're doing it.
Right. And you admit that you're just doing it because you can. Hey, we need the money. Here's a loophole that allows us to take money from you without a vote. We're going to exercise that opportunity. Steve Kidder asks, is voting by precinct or citywide, and when is the election?
The election is May the 1st. Little old lady started the mail out ballots. We went out the first week of April.
Careful for election fraud.
Right.
No, not in Victoria. We've been watching that. We're in good shape.
Only in San Antonio.
Does a good job. Anyway, no, then I forgot. That threw me off. Oh,
Precinct or citywide?
19. It's going to be by precinct. Most everybody is going to be voting this time around, but the folks that are around Patty Welder and
which precinct are you running for?
I'm inside of number 4,
which is
basically Liberty Campus, Roland, De Leon, and points to the east.
Smith. Is that Smith in that one or
Smith
no?
is not.
Okay.
Jamie Coleman asks, do you still need things to auction off for the baby? You'll recall that last week we helped successfully auction off a SIG pistol that we had, our listeners had been at 2,200, 2,400. It got up to 3,000 and we sold 2 of them at 3,000, custom airbrushed. No two are alike. And Ronnie Koshin came in and helped us with that.
Richard King was one successful bidder, and Calvin Arena Share to start their gun collection.
Yeah, because they've never bought a gun before, so they did that. But yes, Jamie, if something else came along that we could use, we would absolutely auction that off and give all the proceeds, to Ron to pass on to that child. Hey, let's take a last quick break and we'll give you a minute to wrap it up. Dana Moore de la Garza can help you with all your familial needs as pertains to your inevitable passing. One thing we know is at some point, all of us are going to have to face whether or not we.
Yeah, we've talked about one of the inevitabilities in life, taxes.
Right.
The other now is
death. And Dana Moore can help you. It's one stop. She can help you find a plot. She can help you find, how you want to be interred. Do you want to be cremated? Do you want to be stuffed and put by the bar with a drink in your hand? What do you want to do? She can help you out. Grace Funeral Home, Memory Garden. She represents all these folks. She can help you literally turnkey, and is a very thoughtful person. She's worked with my family. I know her personally, know her well. It's a very, very conscientious approach to some common sense things that you don't want to make these decisions when you're emotional. You can prepay it. You can finance it. You can pay it over time. Pay it off just in time right before you kick it, and then you're good to go. Dana Moore de la Garza will help you. Motto Mortgage, something else you're going to pay for the rest of your life, your house.
Yeah. Terry Murray has decades of experience. She has a lot of investors that allow her to shop for the best financing options for all her clients, conventional financing, FHA, VA, all sorts of options that are available for you. Whether you're looking for, a rate and term that fits your needs, whether you're looking for a cash out refinance, you've got some bills you want to consolidate, you maybe want to make some renovations to your home or straight out buy a new home. Terry Murray can handle all of this at Motto Mortgage. It's locally owned and operated. It's a licensed business, so you're not going to get any shady dealings with Motto Mortgage. They're right there off Navarro between Jason's Deli and Sally Beauty Supply. Easy to find. Walk in, talk to Terry. She can handle all your mortgage needs, even does reverse mortgages as well.
She handles a bunch of different lenders. So it's kind of like coming to me for insurance. You got an independent person that has multiple markets to go to. And like they say, when banks compete, you win. But at least now you got a person to go to.
Or give her a call at 541-5458.
Went services, whether you need generators, solar panels, windmills, you need a plumbing, you need a new drop in the kitchen, you need a plug here or there. Wind services, wind electrical, they're the ones to reach out to. It's just, I don't even know what else to say. We talked about them. If you don't have a generator, you need one. We're within 100 days of storm season.
98 and counting, I think.
I would reach out to Went now. If the ice storm, to have a full house generator, the ice storm would have been a bonus. It would have been a bonus. You need the thing during hurricane season. What a bonus if you'd had a whole house generator this last week. USA Concrete Coatings.
A lot of people have whole house. We'll have them next week.
Absolutely. 578-HOME. Reach out to Charlie Garcia. Let Charlie come in. He will clean, seal, put down a polyurethane coating that's tougher than epoxy. Won't stick to your car tires, won't come up. They've got this down to a science now, literally.
Yeah, and they can do it in within a day in most cases.
And they'll put the flex down that make your floor look great.
All color options are available. It can fit with
Absolutely.
any decor that you're trying. It's just awesome stuff.
Absolutely. Reach out to them. And then, of course, if you're going to have a party, corporate outing, if you need to have a fundraiser and you need just that special touch, reach out to Cheryl, 920-6803. The Gray Barn. The Gray Barn can put that little into your next party or get together and just make it special. I think
there's a wedding showcase fair this weekend.
She's going to be
She'll
showing.
Yeah, I don't know all the details, but she'll fill me in. I'll let you know where you can go visit her this weekend.
Fantastic. So
And I think Bob Constantine from Texas Coast Limousine will be there as well. So, because if you're getting married, you need a limo.
Well, if you dial, tell me what's
575 limo.
575
Easy number to
limo.
remember.
That's easy, right?
Yes.
I mean, 575 limo, and Bob will help you with your group all the way up to a 28 passenger bus. They've got a brand new fleet of like Lincoln, they're like big Lincoln town cars. They're
Really nice.
just really nice.
They've got Hummer limos. They've got a trolley that you can use. They've got all sorts of things. Party buses of all sizes to accommodate. Another thing people don't think of, if the Continental Express flight out of here isn't convenient, you're going to fly out of Austin, San Antonio, Houston, Corpus. Call Bob up, 575 limo, and see what it'll cost to take, company folks, bunch of you are flying out. That might be the most economical way. No paying for parking. You don't have to worry about trying to park. He'll drop you off right at the door and away you go.
Absolutely. And while it's a luxury for a lot of folks, you have to know it's that little thing that makes an anniversary, special. Like, oh man, you see that limo come around the corner. She has no idea, or he has no idea. Come on.
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
So
almost time to get out of here.
Being sarcastic?
Huh?
Is Caleb Shaw being sarcastic?
I think so.
I love Caleb Shaw.
I'm not sure.
Caleb, thank you for always being so willing to fill in when I choose to be gone.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's a hard gig to do this by yourself.
It is.
Ask Ralph. He does it every day by himself.
Yeah, just with Gary standing there. Ralph, tune in. The whole thing, he just said that Ralph does the show by himself with Gary standing there. Awesome. He's like the vice president. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So stay tuned. The Hall of Famer Ralph Salazar.
So Dale, why should the voters in your precinct vote for you?
If you want the hard questions answered, you want to know what's going on in the school board. If you think we are the best and the greatest as we are, but we do want better for our students. You want better for our teachers. You want someone who's going to stand up and actually ask the tough questions and get the actions done. That's the only reason to be. I don't play nice. I don't play fair, but I'm calling people spades when it's a spade.
There you go.
Well, I'd say you play fair.
I think you're fair.
Yeah, I don't think but you're not afraid to ask the questions.
Call me at 564-6002 or Dale Zook, ZUCK at Yahoo.
There you go.
Great. Dale, appreciate your time today. Thank you for stopping by. Great discussion. Lots of to cover.
Drop a topic out for the Hall of Famer and Brother Gary. The 4 4 of the ERCOT board members who happen to reside outside the state of Texas, well, they just all simultaneously decided to resign yesterday.
Imagine that.
So be aware of that as we go forward. Folks, we love you. We appreciate this forum, and thank you so much for providing